I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to remind you of what you already know, what's deep in your gut, what your instincts have been whispering to you all along. Men, we are leaders, protectors, providers, not just in the physical sense, but in the way we carry ourselves, in the way we treat the people who walk beside us. And if you want to stand tall as a man, if you want to be respected, valued, and remembered for the right reasons, there are some things you must never do when it comes to a woman. Let's talk about it. Number one, never disrespect her in public. Disrespecting a woman in public is one of the quickest ways to diminish her trust, her love, and ultimately her respect for you. A man who embarrasses his woman in front of others, whether intentionally or not, is showing the world not just how he feels about her, but also how he feels about himself. Because the truth is, a man who is secure, who is in control of himself, who understands the power of words and actions, will never put his woman in a position where she feels small, humiliated, or unappreciated. Public disrespect can take many forms, and sometimes men don't even realize they're doing it. It could be as obvious as raising your voice at her in front of others, making her the target of a cruel joke, or belittling her ideas in a group conversation. It could be rolling your eyes when she speaks, cutting her off mid-sentence, or dismissing her contributions in a way that makes her feel like she doesn't matter. It could even be more subtle, like ignoring her presence, failing to acknowledge her in social settings, or openly flirting with other women as if she isn't even there. Regardless of the form it takes, the message is the same. You are not worthy of my respect. And once a woman begins to feel that way, the dynamic between you will never be the same. A woman wants to feel protected in every sense, physically, emotionally, and socially. When she steps into a room with you, she should feel like she is with someone who will uplift her, not tear her down. If she has to second guess whether she'll be embarrassed, if she has to feel anxious every time you two are around friends, family, or even strangers, that's not a relationship built on love and security. That's a relationship where she feels like she's constantly walking on eggshells, unsure if the man she trusts will turn into the man who humiliates her. And once that feeling sets in, respect is the first thing to fade. Men sometimes think that as long as they're providing, as long as they're loyal, they've done enough. But that's not how it works. A woman will remember how you made her feel more than anything you ever bought her. She will remember the times you looked at her like she wasn't enough, the moments you dismissed her, the times you allowed others to disrespect her while you stood silent. She will remember the jokes at her expense, the offhanded comments that made her question herself, the times she needed your support and instead got your criticism. And over time, these small wounds will pile up until one day, she is no longer looking at you with admiration, she is looking at you with disappointment. A real man understands that his woman is a reflection of him. If she is confident, if she is glowing, if she walks into a room with her head high, that's a sign of a man who uplifts her, who makes her feel valued. But if she looks timid, unsure, withdrawn, if she hesitates before speaking because she fears being put down, that's a reflection of a man who has failed to make her feel secure in his presence. And if you are the reason she doubts herself, you are failing in one of your most important roles as a man. Public disrespect also does something even deeper. It weakens her trust in you. A woman who feels disrespected in public will begin to question whether she is truly valued in private. She will start to wonder if your kindness behind closed doors is genuine or just a mask you wear until an audience is present. She will begin to withdraw, not because she doesn't love you, but because she no longer feels safe to express herself around you. And when a woman no longer feels safe emotionally, the connection between you two will suffer in ways that no amount of apologies can fully repair. The key to being a great man in a relationship is not about never making mistakes. It's about being aware of them and correcting them before they cause damage. If you've ever put your woman down in front of others, even in a joking way, take a step back and ask yourself why. Were you trying to seem dominant? Were you trying to be funny at her expense? Were you acting out of frustration? Whatever the reason, recognize that no excuse is worth making her feel less than she is. Instead of embarrassing her, uplift her. If she says something incorrect, correct her in private, not in a way that makes her feel foolish in front of others. If she expresses an idea you don't agree with, Engage with respect rather than dismissing her. If she's feeling insecure about something, reassure her instead of making light of it in front of an audience. A man who knows how to make his woman feel valued in public is a man who will be valued in return. A strong relationship is built on trust, respect, and partnership. The moment you make a woman feel like an outsider in her own relationship, the moment you make her feel like she has to prove her worth, rather than simply be appreciated for who she is, you begin to lose her. And once a woman feels like she is fighting to be respected, the love will never feel the same again. A man's job is not just to love his woman. It is to make sure that no matter where they are, no matter who is watching, she never has to question her worth in his eyes. Number 2, never stop courting her. When a man wins a woman's heart, there's a feeling of excitement, passion, and deep connection that comes with it. In the beginning, everything is fresh. You put in the effort, you plan dates, you surprise her, you make her feel like she is the most important person in your world. But for too many men, something changes over time. They get comfortable. They assume that once she is theirs, the work is done. But the truth is, the work never stops. A woman doesn't just want to be won. She wants to be continuously chosen, day after day, moment after moment. The moment you stop courting her, you begin to lose her, whether you realize it or not. A woman doesn't wake up one day and decide to fall out of love. It happens slowly, quietly, in the moments you overlook. When you stop making her feel special, when you stop putting in the same energy you once did, she begins to notice. She won't always say it, but she will feel it. She will feel it when you stop planning dates and start making excuses. She will feel it when you used to compliment her all the time, but now you barely notice the effort she puts into looking good for you. She will feel it when your conversations turn into routine exchanges, instead of deep, meaningful talks that make her feel understood. The biggest mistake a man can make is assuming that love is enough. Love is the foundation, but effort is what keeps the house standing. A woman wants to feel like she is still worth the chase, even after years together. She doesn't want to feel like she has become part of the background of your life, like a piece of furniture that's always there but no longer appreciated. If you stop doing the little things, if you stop looking at her the way you used to, if you stop making her feel like the most beautiful woman in the world, she will feel it deep in her soul. And once a woman feels taken for granted, she starts to pull away. Some men think that once they've committed, once they've said I love you or put a ring on her finger, that's enough. But a woman doesn't just want a promise, she wants proof, over and over again. She wants to see that you still desire her, that you still find her exciting, that you still want to impress her the way you did in the beginning. It doesn't take grand gestures or expensive gifts. It takes remembering the little things. Her favorite coffee, the way she likes to be held after a long day, the song that makes her smile. It takes effort. Sending her a message just to say you're thinking of her, holding her hand when you walk together, looking at her like she's the only woman in the world, even when you've seen her every day for years. Relationships don't fall apart because of one big mistake. They fade because of 1,000 small neglects. A woman will be patient, she will understand, she will adjust, but she will also remember how things used to be. If she feels like you are no longer the man who once made her heart race, she will wonder if you even notice the distance growing between you. She may not leave right away, but she will slowly become less invested. She will stop trying to connect in the ways she used to. She will stop looking at you with admiration. She will stop feeling like she is the woman you once made her believe she was. Courting a woman is not about chasing her to win her love. It is about continuing to show her why she chose you in the first place. It is about making her feel seen, heard, and valued. It is about never letting her question whether you still want her. If you truly love a woman, your efforts should not decrease over time, it should grow. Because love that lasts is love that is nurtured. When you stop courting her, you don't just risk losing her, you risk losing the connection, the passion, and the depth that made your relationship special in the first place. Number 3, never compare her to another woman. Nothing can make a woman feel more unappreciated, more unseen, or more inadequate than being compared to another woman. The moment you compare her to someone else, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you plant a seed of doubt in her mind, a doubt about whether she is enough, whether she is truly valued, and whether she will ever be able to measure up in your eyes. And once that doubt takes root, it begins to erode the foundation of your relationship. It creates insecurity where there was once confidence, distance where there was once closeness, and resentment where there was once love. A woman wants to feel like she is unique in your world, like no one else can take her place. She wants to know that you see her, truly see her for who she is, with all of her strengths and all of her imperfections, and still choose her completely. But the moment you bring another woman into the equation, even in the smallest way, you shatter that security. Whether you are comparing her to an ex, to a coworker, to a friend, or to a stranger on social media, the message is clear. You are looking at someone else and wishing she was more like them. And nothing will make a woman withdraw from you faster than feeling like she is competing for your approval. Sometimes, men don't even realize they're doing it. It can be as subtle as commenting on how another woman dresses, how she carries herself, how she handles a situation, or even how she looks. It could be something as seemingly harmless as saying, "Why don't you do your hair like hers?" Or, "She's really ambitious. Maybe you should try something like that." In your mind, it may not seem like a big deal. Maybe you think you're just making an observation, or maybe you believe you're encouraging her to improve. But in her mind, it's something entirely different. She hears, "You're not enough the way you are. You should be more like her." And that kind of thought, when planted over time, does real damage to the way she sees herself and the way she sees your love. It's not just about what is said, but also what is unsaid. A woman notices when your eyes linger on someone else just a little too long. She notices when you laugh a little harder at another woman's joke. She notices when you seem more engaged in conversation with someone else than you do with her. She sees the way you light up when you talk about a female coworker's accomplishments, but barely acknowledge her own. Even if you don't say a word, your actions can make her feel like she is being measured against someone else. And no woman wants to feel like she has to compete for her man's attention, admiration, or love. Comparing her to another woman doesn't just hurt her. It hurts your relationship. It creates resentment. It builds emotional walls, and it makes her question her place in your life. Over time, she will stop opening up to you in the way she once did. She will stop sharing her dreams, her thoughts, and her emotions because she will feel like you aren't truly satisfied with who she is. And if she feels like she can't be herself around you, the connection between you will never be the same. A woman wants to be with a man who makes her feel safe, secure, and appreciated, not one who makes her feel like she is constantly falling short. The truth is, there will always be other women in the world. There will always be someone who is more successful, more outgoing, more fashionable, or more traditionally attractive. But none of that matters if you have chosen the woman you are with. When you commit to her, you are saying that she is enough, that she is your choice, that no one else compares, and that commitment should be reflected in your words, your actions, and your mindset. Instead of focusing on what she lacks, focus on what she brings. Instead of wishing she was more like someone else, appreciate what makes her unique. Instead of making comparisons, make her feel like she is the only woman in the world for you. Because at the end of the day, love is not about finding perfection. It's about valuing what you have and making sure she never has to question her worth in your eyes. Number 4, never take her for granted. When a man first falls for a woman, he sees her as extraordinary. He cherishes the way she smiles, the way she speaks, the way she makes him feel. He listens intently, he puts in effort, he shows appreciation for all the little things she does. But as time passes, something happens that destroys more relationships than arguments, distance, or even infidelity. He begins to take her for granted. What once felt special becomes routine. What once excited him now feels expected. The woman who once captivated him becomes someone he assumes will always be there, no matter how much or how little effort he puts in. Taking a woman for granted doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the small, everyday moments that are easy to overlook. It happens when you stop noticing the effort she puts into making you happy. It happens when you stop saying thank you for the things she does because you assume she'll always do them. It happens when you stop asking about her day, when you stop holding her hand, when you stop looking at her the way you once did. It's not always about what you do wrong. It's often about what you stop doing right. A woman who feels taken for granted won't always say it outright, but she will feel it. She will feel it when she makes your favorite meal and you don't acknowledge it. She will feel it when she goes out of her way to make time for you, but you don't seem to care. She will feel it when she dresses up, hoping you'll notice, but your eyes are glued to your phone. She will feel it when she listens to your problems, supports you through hard times, and stands by your side, only to realize that you rarely do the same for her. And eventually, she will start to wonder if you even see her anymore. Men often assume that if a woman loves them, she will stay no matter what. They believe that love alone is enough to keep her happy. But love is not something that survives on autopilot. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be protected. A woman who feels neglected may not leave right away, but she will begin to withdraw. She will stop putting in effort. Because effort without appreciation feels like a burden. She will stop sharing her thoughts and dreams because she no longer feels like you care. She will stop looking at you with admiration because admiration is built on being valued. And when a woman no longer feels seen, no longer feels important, she slowly starts to detach from the relationship in ways that are almost impossible to repair. Taking her for granted doesn't just affect her, it affects you too. The man who assumes his woman will always be there is the man who wakes up one day and realizes she isn't the same woman he fell in love with. He wonders why she doesn't laugh as much, why she isn't as affectionate, why she seems distant. He doesn't realize that her heart is tired. He doesn't realize that she has given so much of herself without feeling that same energy in return. He doesn't realize that the love he thought was guaranteed was actually something that needed to be earned over and over again. The truth is, no woman wants to feel like a background character in her own relationship. She wants to feel chosen every single day. She wants to feel like she still excites you, like she still matters, like she is still worth your time and attention. A woman who feels appreciated will give her heart fully. She will support you, stand by you, and love you in ways you didn't even know you needed. But a woman who feels overlooked will eventually stop trying. It doesn't take grand gestures to make her feel valued. It's in the small things. Telling her you appreciate her, noticing the things she does, taking the time to listen, making the effort to show her she is loved. It's remembering that just because she does things for you doesn't mean she has to. Just because she loves you doesn't mean she always will if you stop showing her that she is worth the effort. No woman wants to beg for attention, for appreciation, or for basic kindness. If she has to remind you to value her, you've already lost something precious. The strongest relationships aren't built on words alone. They are built on actions. They are built on consistency, on effort, on making sure that the person you love never has to wonder if they are truly important to you. If you have a woman who loves you, who supports you, who stands beside you, do not make the mistake of assuming she will always be there. A woman's love is deep, but her patience is not limitless. The moment she feels like she is being taken for granted is the moment she starts questioning whether she belongs in your life at all. The last is, never let her lose respect for you. Respect is the foundation of any strong relationship. Love may bring two people together, but it is respect that keeps them connected, that deepens their bond, and that ensures the relationship withstands the test of time. When a woman respects a man, she looks up to him, she believes in him, and she trusts his leadership. But the moment she starts to lose respect for him, everything changes. The way she looks at him shifts. The way she interacts with him becomes different. And the connection they once had begins to fade. Love without respect is weak. A woman may care for a man, she may even stay with him, but if she loses respect for him, she will never see him the same way again. A man earns a woman's respect through his actions, through his consistency, through his ability to stand firm in who he is. She respects a man who is dependable, who keeps his word, who follows through on his promises. If a man says one thing but does another, if he makes commitments and then breaks them, he teaches her that his words mean nothing. And once a woman feels like she cannot trust what a man says, she begins to lose faith in him. She starts to see him as unreliable, as weak, as someone who cannot be counted on. A woman respects a man who has standards, who knows what he stands for, and who does not compromise his values. A man who is easily swayed, who is inconsistent in his beliefs, who changes his opinions based on who he is around, will never hold her admiration. Women are naturally drawn to strength, not just physical strength, but mental and emotional strength. A man who cannot make decisions, who cannot stand up for himself, who allows others to walk all over him, will eventually lose her respect. She may still care for him, but she will not look at him as a leader, as a protector, as someone who is worthy of her deepest admiration. Respect is also built through how a man handles challenges. Life will test every man, and the way he responds to adversity determines how his woman sees him. A man who falls apart under pressure, who complains, who makes excuses, who blames others instead of taking responsibility, will slowly lose his woman's respect. She wants to see that he can handle difficulties with composure, that he can face obstacles with strength, that he does not allow setbacks to define him. When a woman sees that her man can rise above hardships, that he can keep pushing forward no matter what, her respect for him grows. But when she sees him crumble, when she sees him lose control, when she sees him quit too easily, she starts to question if he is the kind of man she can truly depend on. A woman also respects a man who respects himself. A man who allows himself to be mistreated, who tolerates disrespect from others, who does not stand up for what he deserves, will never command her full admiration. If a man does not value himself, how can she be expected to value him? Confidence, self-discipline, and self-respect are qualities that make a man strong in a woman's eyes. When she sees that he carries himself with dignity, that he does not tolerate being disrespected, that he has boundaries and enforces them, she sees him as someone to be respected. The way a man treats his woman also plays a major role in whether or not she continues to respect him. A man who is weak, who is overly needy, who lacks control over his emotions, will lose her respect. She does not want a man who begs for her attention, who constantly seeks validation, who is emotionally unstable. At the same time, a man who is too cold, too distant, too dismissive of her emotions will also lose her admiration. A man must strike the balance between being strong and being emotionally mature. He must be a source of stability, not chaos. The fastest way for a man to lose a woman's respect is through dishonesty, disloyalty, and a lack of integrity. A woman can forgive many things, but if she sees that her man is a liar, a cheat, or someone who lacks honor, she will never look at him the same way again. Even if she stays, even if she tries to move past it, deep down, her image of him will be forever altered. Trust and respect go hand in hand, and once either is broken, it is incredibly difficult to rebuild. A woman's respect is not something that is given freely, it is something that is earned. And once it is lost, it is nearly impossible to get back. A man must protect it, he must nurture it, he must understand that it is one of the most valuable things he can have in a relationship. When a woman respects her man, she believes in him, she supports him, she stands by his side with pride. But when that respect is gone, so is the relationship, even if they are still physically together. A man must never let his woman lose respect for him, because once she does, nothing will ever be the same again. Gentlemen, the way you treat a woman says everything about the kind of man you are. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be intentional. A great woman isn't looking for a perfect man. She's looking for a man who tries, who listens, who values her. Who's valued, who values her. So stand up. Be the kind of man a woman is proud to stand beside. And never forget, how you treat her is a reflection of you. That's my time. Thank you.